Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, we tell you that after the historic whitewash at the hands of the Bangladesh cricket team, Pakistan has slumped to a new low in the ICC Test Championship. It is after 1965 that this moment has come, that Pakistan is at its worst position in any rankings across formats. So once again, like I said, that things just keep getting crazier and crazier by the moment. But that being said, even on individual basis, rankings are something to talk about. If you talk about Babar Azam out of the top 10, Rizwan the only one with crucial points. Salman Ali Agha played really well, so he was able to grab certain points as well. But for Pakistan, it's been utter disappointment. But on the other hand, I must be very appreciative of Bangladesh. After winning the series, they were congratulated by their interim government on behalf of their nation as well. They've gone back to a hero's welcome. The trophy unveiling at the airport and everything. Their captain said this is the greatest moment for us in Test cricket, and I truly believe that they have deserved every bit of it as well. So we talk about that in detail, and of course then we move on and we discuss the Champions Cup as well with you. That is now days away in Faisalabad. Sarfaraz Ahmed is also a mentor as well. He has also unveiled his side. The Dolphins, as we talk about, brings back so many memories, doesn't it? So, I mean, it's going to be absolutely fantastic when you talk about the game of cricket. And I'm very, very excited to see Faisalabad as a venue as well. It's been ages since we saw Faisalabad on the limelight. I'm very interested to see the pitches, how the quality of pitches play out, how the matches proceed as well, because I think that this is a way forward now to include it as an international venue, and we should be focusing on these existing venues that have been international centers in the past as well. So we talk about that in detail, because like I said, that we need to move on now to these concepts as well. Then we discuss the Ballon d'Or as well, where for the very first time in a long time, Ronaldo, Messi are missing out as the nominees. Real have already got a total of 7. When you talk about players nominated, the nominees have been announced amongst the players who have been named as well. Astonishing. Football, gives you these goosebumps every now and then. And then we move on to tennis, where Iga Swiatek has been stunned at the hands of Pegula, who's now moved on. But more than that, I think Jannik Sinner now that we see the semi-final and final lineups as well. So we talk about that in detail as well. And then we move on to the Paris Paralympics. China leading the medal table with 63 gold, 47 silver, 28 bronze. Great Britain at the second position with 33 gold. United States standing at third place with 25 gold medals as well. So this is what we talk about in detail on the show. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by our sports expert, Mr. Ali Mehdi, who joins us. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Great to be here.
We've also been joined by sports expert Malik Usman Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? And we've also been joined by senior sports journalist Syed Haider. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Walaikum salam, Ahmad. I'm fine. I hope you will be fine also.
Alhamdulillah, sir. Very well. Sir, what would you like to add now? Obviously, I think the performance speaks for itself in the past couple of weeks, but ranking is always an indicator where you are at the moment. And we must say that, at one part we were 2 weeks ago discussing of how we can make it to the final of the World Test Championship, and now it's come to the worst position after 1965.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not say that the bad performance of the team, but it's a mystery how the team is performing now. It's really, I cannot imagine that a team was performing the last year nicely. We were in the final of the T20 World Cup, and then in Test against Sri Lanka, we have performed well. But after then, what is the decline in our cricket system? I cannot understand, because the batters, the bowlers, they are the same. They have performed always very well. But nowadays, since 6 months, their performance is really a mystery. I don't know what is running behind in the dressing room or in the team, but the players, they are not 100%. I think they are not 100% fit for their physical fitness also, and to the batting cricket fitness. So it has to be revealed from the cricket board that what are the problems really. Now PCB is trying to get something on the track by getting the Champions Cup and domestic cricket, but still I think the way what they have chosen, I think it will not be helpful for the Pakistan cricket team, because we are day by day we are going down and down, and by which if you see that the players who are playing in the international cricket or in the franchise leagues, they are performing well in Sri Lanka and the Caribbean, in South Africa or in the Hundreds League. They are performing well. But once they come to the Pakistan national team, their performance is really questionable. Why? What they are doing? Pakistan cricket management, Pakistan cricket coaching panel, they have to really to take seriously what is running behind the team and what is really a remedy for this problem. We have to study very closely, otherwise we will down more and more.
Absolutely. Usman, one part of the picture is the number of first-class games behind anyone who's playing for Pakistan. But I think the other point is that even if they've played a number of first-class games, the distance between first-class cricket and international test cricket is monumental in Pakistan. On the other hand, our closest indicator is Ranji Trophy. Then we see a player coming from there, even with 15-20 games, has enough confidence and mental strength behind him that he adapts to the situation very well. So we've not discussed this much, but we also need to bridge that gap between international cricket and our first class cricket, because first class is the last step before you move on to international cricket.
Agreed. There is a huge gap between our domestic cricket and international cricket. It's not England or Australia. And you're talking about Ranji Trophy. See, when things are going well, it does go well. India has invested in its system, in its structure, and they have been doing pretty well. I think we must not overstate things. This was the same first class structure that Pakistan has been following, and they have won more ICC trophies than India in the past few years. India just won the ICC T20. And mind you that all the pitches were in their favor, and there are a lot of things going on and on and on. I don't want to take the thunder away from India. India has been mighty consistent. They have been winning a lot of series as well. But I think one of the major reasons for their success is also IPL. When you have a new bud growing from the ground, and he has the coaching of Ricky Ponting, he has the captaincy of Virat Kohli, he has the coaching of let's say Wasim Akram for that matter. How many Indian fast bowlers have been nurtured by Wasim Akram? So all of these things do count, and Pakistan's PSL, it's a budding affair, and how good it was in the beginning and how it has flatly fallen into the ground, we all need to look into that. Talking about first class structure, we just don't know where we are heading. A new chairman comes in, he changes the structure of the whole PCB and the way the cricket is followed in the country. You have had more chairmen than the number of series you have played. I'm speaking sarcastically. So that is how you don't have a direction. Haider Saab was talking about the players, they have been performing well in various franchises outside Pakistan, but when they feature in the Pakistan cricket side, they are not performing so well. Certainly, I completely agree with this. What is the reason? Do they have the confidence of the management? I'm not so sure. I see our management, our vision to be very, very divertive. They don't have a clear direction. We don't know where we are heading. We don't have a clear plan. What is the plan for the next 3 years? Do we know? We are not so sure. Whether Pakistan Champions Trophy will be held in Pakistan, we are not so sure. You had 7 out of the 9 test matches of this World Test Championship in Pakistan. You are one unique country, a test playing nation, which usually loses at home, and they've been performing well away. We just don't know whether we want hard bouncy pitches, or do we want green pitches, or do we want flat pitches, or do we want absolute dry pitches where we can reverse the ball. We don't reverse the ball anymore. We don't have express pace anymore. We don't have players who play spin well. We don't have good spinners in that matter. So all in all, we don't have a good structure. Then our management says that I can shuffle this team, but we don't have the backups. If we don't have the backups, what we were doing for the past 10-15 years. This is the same team, mind you, that smashed India by 10 wickets and featured in the T20 World Cup final and a semi-final recently. This team is not bad. It's just that we don't have a head on this body which can be used to think for the future.
Absolutely, and to their credit, I think they have been rotated so much in probably a whirlpool that they don't understand what their position is right now.
I would like to add something. Just give me a moment.
Yes,
see, we always talk, whenever we are talking, even in our story and on various channels as well, we always talk about our first class cricket. See, this was the same first class cricket when we won so many tournaments. We were one of the top sides in Pakistan until recently. It's not that it has been 10 years ago or something. Just for the past one and a half year, after the Asia T20 tournament, 50 over tournament, then the World Cup, we started going downwards. It's been 1.5 years, which can change very quickly.
Well, I
It's
think
not
let's
that.
take one milestone in that. All changed when you decided to remove Babar Azam as
I
skipper.
completely
But
agree.
before that, everything was fine in this team.
I absolutely agree. That is the reason I said that we just don't have any direction. See, you removed him from the captaincy. That means you had someone ready. You did not have so. You just wanted to remove him. Once you removed him, after one series, he was back. And now again there are talks that he may be removed. So where are you heading? You don't have a clear direction. If you don't have a direction, let the things go as they were going. At least you knew what you were going to get out of the team's performance.
Absolutely. Ali Mehdi, it's pretty clear, I think, that, you know, once you removed Babar and, you know, did that fiasco, let me just call it a fiasco. After that, what happened? Let's go a bit even, you know, in the past. Once you removed Sarfaraz without any solid grounds, you ended up in trouble. Babar Azam took some time to mature into the captain that he became in the year 2021-22, what we saw. Pakistan, the finalist of a T20 World Cup, the semi-finalist of a T20 World Cup, won a test in Sri Lanka. So by the time Babar became ready for that position, immediately you know, snatched the floor under him again. And that's what you did. Then you brought in Shaheen, and Shaheen would have required some time to mature, and he didn't even captain a franchise before that. So, you know, that didn't work very well. Immediately you brought Babar back as well. And obviously once Babar comes back, there is already, you know, different ends of a sword in the team. Then you need to neutralize things. Immediately we became result oriented.
Yeah, I completely agreed with you. And the seeds were actually sowed way back in 2019 when actually our greatest ODI white ball captain of this century, Sarfaraz Ahmed, was removed for no reason. Obviously, he was not performing, but obviously that happens. You know, he was going through a lean patch. But you know, the person who actually took us to number one T20, number one ranked team for T20 in 2018, the person who won that's the Champions Trophy, the person who actually led us in the 2019 World Cup, and obviously, you know, that didn't go according to plan. You know, we got off to a bad start, but then we recovered extremely well, I thought, in that when I covered that in the UK in 2019. He was just going through a lean patch, and I thought the seeds were sowed then. And then obviously you brought Babar Azam, which I thought at the time was the wrong decision because I didn't see any captaincy skills him. But look, you gave him the opportunity. He actually then matured into a captain. Like you mentioned, 2021, he took us to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. 2022, the T20 World Cup final, which we, you know, on both occasions we could have won. But I just thought that probably it wasn't Pakistan's day in those two matches too. And then after that, you know, he was actually doing very well. He actually led us to a series victory in Sri Lanka in Test series where we were actually won 2-0. And you know, the time when he was really going to mature after a bad World Cup, you remove him. So what is happening? You know, you remove somebody, you need replacement, as you mentioned. There was no replacement. You know, there's politics within the team. There are politics within the whole cricket team. You have this PCB chairmen who are actually being which are being coming and going like musical chairs. So if you have this, then it's obviously going to be problematic. The thing is, like, look, Babar Azam, you know, obviously he was going through a difficult time with his form too, and then obviously what's been happening behind the scenes. But he did actually try very hard, but you know, things didn't work out. And then when you bring him back over here, obviously there are going to be problems. But until you don't have a proper system, you don't have continuity. And I've said this over and over again, you need to have continuity in terms of the PCB management, in terms of the skills, in terms of the setup too, in terms of the systems in place, the domestic structure. I keep on saying this, that the domestic structure, which has actually been reduced, and 192 players were actually playing in this domestic compared to the departmental cricket where you had 3,000. When you have a lower pool of players, it becomes very difficult because, you know, you're rotating the same players, whereas when you have a big pool, then you have this enigma which actually emerges, which has happened in the, you know, over the past few decades. So right now, you know, they might be saying that there is not much talent, but you know, this is the same team which actually made the T20 final. So the thing is over here, now you have to trust the system.
Particularly Ali Mehdi, particularly you categorically have mentioned this before as well, that we need to trust in the process.
Yeah.
But for that, I think the process needs to exist first, let me be very honest.
Yeah, the process needs to exist too. I think you've got a very good point that, you know, it has to exist, but you have to trust that, you know, whatever they're doing, like, you know, you're going to mention, you know, the Champions Cup, you know, which is something different. And also the first class structure, you know, the first class structure, like Usman Bhai was just mentioning over there, that you don't know which pitches you want to play over here. You need to actually make that very clear. Pakistan historically, look, these conditions in this part of the world are slow pitches, they are dry pitches. You're not going to get grass on this. So you have to stick to that structure. And if you're going to stick to that structure, obviously you have the fast bowlers too, but you need to stick to these low pitches, which are dry pitches, which actually take turn on the third and fourth and 50th. And what is the way to succeed? And that is developing spinners. Now you tell me, has there been a proper world-class spinner been developed in Pakistan ever since Yasir Shah, even Saeed Ajmal? No. If you're not going to have that, how are you going to succeed in test ball cricket? Even in ODI cricket, you're playing the same spinners again and again and again. Shadab Khan coming again and again and again. You're playing him. Obviously, Mahmood Wasim isn't, comes and goes too. So until you don't have quality spinners amongst the ranks, you're not going to perform well at home.
Absolutely.
Whereas you're going to perform well abroad.
I think me, Ali, Mehdi, Usman, a lot of other people have always advocated a more share of Test cricket. The way things are going, we might want to reconsider ourselves.
And there's one more thing
one
thing I wanted to mention to you. And I think this is a very important point to where, look, Pakistan has not gone to England since 2020, since COVID. Normally what happens is the most lucrative place to go is England. England has not called us for the past 4 years. We're not going there next year. We're going to probably go there for 2026. So it shows that, say, we are not being called to England because we are not performing in the test arena. We're not performing in the red ball arena too. There was a time in 1992 when Pakistan played 5 test matches and then 3 in 2000, then 4 in 2006 and 4 in the debacle of the 2010 and then 16. Now they haven't called us for 6 years. And even when they do call us in 2026, at the rate we're going, they probably will just call us for 2 or 3 tests.
I think the most iconic series for Pakistan at home in terms of Test cricket have been one where we played India and the next where we played England, where Shoaib Akhtar was all over them. I mean, that was one of the greatest series that
2005
we've seen in Pakistan, a glorious era of Test cricket comparatively as well. But Sir Haider, a former captain of the Pakistan cricket team, Salman Butt, made a very pertinent point about Babar Azam. He said that for far too long we have been accustomed to the fact that Babar is scoring runs. Now immediately when he's out of form, we tend to judge him. He said in the past, many Pakistani legends have failed, but they had a good team around them which would perform and they would eventually gain form as well and then, not be exposed. But unfortunately, we must ask ourselves this question: who around Babar Azam has, stood up and taken that charge? And I personally have been saying this since ages, that our indicator, apart from Babar Azam, needs to be what have the others done in this time frame as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Really, it's very pathetic what our former cricketers, they are passing the remarks about the Babar Azam. And really, I'm disappointed to see someone from the former chief selector, what he said about the Babar Azam. Every cricketer in the world, Sachin Tendulkar, Sir Donald Bradman, Sir Vivian Richards, everyone, they have got the bad patches in their career, but it doesn't mean that they are totally fail in the batting. Babar Azam is only, I have said always in your program and all over on all channels where I'm going to comment, I have said always that at this moment only the one player in Pakistan team who is the international standard player, Babar Azam. We have to appreciate, we have to really admit that. Else, Babar Azam, we don't have anyone who is on the international level who can compete for the Pakistan at international level. That's a big point. What the people are not understanding, and now all diversion to the Babar Azam that we have got defeat against Bangladesh. Babar Azam is responsible for it because he is not scoring. There is what other players. The cricket is not a game of tennis or table tennis or badminton. Cricket is a game of the 11 players, and everyone he has to perform. What the other one they are doing, they are not doing anything. Unfortunately, they are not doing from today. They are not doing from the last 2, 3, 4 years. But last 2, 3 years, Babar Azam was performing. Therefore, they were in the shadow of Babar Azam. So people were not criticizing them. But nowadays, the Babar is not in form. So they are counting that last 2 years he hasn't got 50, he hasn't got century, he has not scored. So everyone, I think it's a very bad behavior, attitude of the Pakistan cricket fans and the former cricketers. Really, I'm disappointed from the former test cricketers because they know that what is a cricket. If the common people, if they are criticizing, then I can accept that they don't know cricket. But the former test cricketers, really, what they are saying about Babar Azam, it should be really, we have to protest them against them that what you're saying on the TV channels, it's not acceptable. If you want to promote the cricket in Pakistan, if you want to restore the cricket in Pakistan, you should appreciate, you should promote our cricketers who are really international standards like Babar Azam. Otherwise, you will lose also Babar Azam. And I don't see any backup of the Babar Azam for next 5 years. For next 5 years, there is no backup. I'm saying you.
Well, this is a very important statement, and I think it's factual as well. I think let me just bite this sour pill over here. I think that it's not Babar Azam only. If you look at the history of Pakistan cricket, whenever a person has transcended into international stardom and has been greater than the game itself, we tend to bring him down ruthlessly with an agenda. Wasim Akram, the greatest Pakistan has ever produced, rose to fame, and certainly, we started creating all sorts of nonsense, and everybody knows what happened. We move on, fast forward to a time, Mohammad Yusuf, internationally, hundreds in Australia, England, highest ever runs in a calendar year in international cricket, and then an agenda behind him, and what we do is history. We've seen it happening with the likes of Yunus Khan, especially Yunus Khan, the way it came to that point as well. Asad Shafiq, Azhar Ali to a point as well. Absolutely, Abdur Razak, Usman is absolutely right. Shoaib Akhtar even, we started citing disciplinary matters when we started seeing that he's going to be the ace of the world. So, I mean, nowhere else in the world does it happen. And I keep on telling people right now, people are very much vocal in tweeting that Babar tweeted for Kohli, Kohli should tweet back. Then you should also realize that when Kohli went into a bad form, he was not treated the way our nation and culture is treating Babar Azam. He was protected by the cricket board. The person who had probably the biggest fiasco with him in terms of captaincy, Rohit Sharma, was the first one to defend Virat Kohli. I mean, this is the way teams are made. But unfortunately, in our part of the world, it's just a sad story over and over again. We hope that sanity will prevail. Usman would like to add something, but Usman, apart from that, I would also like you to move on to the next topic as well, that cricket returns to Faisalabad. So I'm sure that is also something on your mind.
Very exciting. Yeah, but I'd just like to add to this, the previous point you were talking about some of the Indian board members and the current captain, Rohit Sharma. I think there were 25 crore, 250 million, let's say, people who were backing Virat Kohli, and those were all Pakistanis. I remember how they used to pray, they used to wish that Kohli should come back in form. But the same people, if they are criticizing Babar Azam because he's out of form, I think that is very unfortunate. And let me be very clear about it, that if someone is talking and criticizing only Babar Azam, that means the other players are irrelevant in that matter. Whether they perform, they don't perform, nobody cares. It's always about Babar. If he's scoring 100, that's fine. If he doesn't score 100, why Babar didn't do so? Where is the captain? Where is the vice captain? Where are the coaches? Where are the rest of the 10 players? It's always not about fighting.
On a lighter side, it's come to a point, bowler balls down the leg side, it's Babar's fault.
Yeah,
it's really come to that point now.
Come to that. Talking about Faisalabad, yes, it's my home city. I would love the great players coming to Pakistan, and let's begin the Champions Cup in the city of champions, Faisalabad. We have a good rich history over there. You would like to have good food over there. You know how hospitable those people are. They are very, very welcoming, and they are very, very funny in that regard as well. And yes, I completely agree with Faisalabad being one of the bigger cities in Pakistan. It should be declared one of the standard stadiums for international cricket as well. And it's very unfortunate that we are not having international cricket in Pakistan. We used to have India-Pakistan test match in Faisalabad. I had gone to visit that stadium, and I watched a brilliant catch from Yuvraj Singh at point, as always, how good a fielder he was. And once these great international Pakistani players and this massive tournament is going to begin in Faisalabad, I think it will attract a massive crowd from Faisalabad as well, and the areas surrounding like Okada, Sahiwal, Chiniot, Sargodha and all. And let's hope that this event is a success and we get good players out of this tournament, and we have crowd coming in numbers in the stadium. And good luck to Faisalabad. Let's hope they have a wonderful tournament to host.
Absolutely, and I am pretty sure, and I request all cricket lovers in Faisalabad to throng the stadium as well. Make it worthwhile. Usman bhai has already promised us that if we end up in Faisalabad, there's a very famous Bengali lassi that we will be treated to. So we've got our share as well. But that wraps up our cricket segment. Thank you very much, Sir Haider, for joining us. And we're going to hang on to Ali and Usman because we move on to our next segment. And on that note, let's take a look at a very important piece of history in this report on the US Open by Malaika.
The US Open Men's Single Championship is an annual tennis tournament that is part of the US Open and was established in 1881. Francis Tiafoe set up a US Open semi-final against Taylor Fritz to guarantee there will be an American man in the singles final in New York. fourth set. Francis is an American professional tennis player. He reached his career high at the world number 10 in singles on the 19th June 2023, becoming the first Sierra Leone American man to be ranked in the top 10. Tiafoe produced an inspired performance filled with electric shot making that brought alive the home crowd.
There you have it, a piece of history on the US Open in this report by Malaika, giving us some exclusive content over here. But Usman, I must say you're a man of predictions. Pegula absolutely outclassed Swiatek. She had no chance to make a comeback in the game.
It was slightly easier prediction in that regard because once that Swiatek, we saw that she was not confident this whole tournament, and somewhere down the line this Olympics did had its impact on US Open, because usually we don't have Olympics in a calendar year, it's always after 4 years, and now these tennis players are taking it very, very seriously, even not just playing singles, they always end up playing the doubles as well. So how important that lucrative gold medal is for these players, we can see that now. And this US Open has been extremely unpredictable. Just look at the men's game. We have only Sinner, who is among the top 10 players who is featuring in the semi-finals. So it's extremely unpredictable. Even in the women's quota, you see, apart from Sabalenka, you can see the other three are in the different league, and Sabalenka is in a different league. Swiatek, for that matter, she was the top seed, but we saw that she did not have that game. And mind you, this is one tournament after so many years or so many tournaments, Grand Slams, that the players are having problem with their service. They are not winning so many points on their service, more so specifically first serve. And same was the problem with Swiatek. The players do lose their games, but the frustration that has been creeping in the seeded players, men and female combined, you can see that all of them have been stating one of our worst games, our worst game. These are the kind of adjectives that they are using after their defeat. You have not seen that too often. So there is something in there that the seeded players have been cursed or something of that sort, because male and female both players are struggling to going further in this tournament.
Absolutely, Ali Mehdi, you got it right as well. I mean, Jannik Sinner outplayed Daniil Medvedev, and of course Swiatek as well lost to Pegula.
You were saying yesterday that Medvedev is probably the favorite, but I thought otherwise, because Sinner is looking like a machine right now. And look, Sinner is the sort of player who's done very well throughout there. He's the world number 1 Australian Open. He was incredible where he actually in the final against Medvedev, he's 2 sets down and he went on to win in 5 sets too. And throughout the year, he won in Miami too. And then he's been absolutely brilliant throughout this year, very consistent too. And this is the one Grand Slam he wanted the most, because this is his favorite surface when it comes to hard court. And if you look at his physique, his body, he's playing extremely well. His ground shots are very good, and then at the same, his net play has also increased very well, and his stamina and physical stamina has been absolutely brilliant too. And mentally, he's very strong. Service, he can slightly improve, because he did drop 1 set. He won the second set 6-1 to Medvedev, but overall, he just outplayed the 2021 champion who beat Novak Djokovic in that final in 2021. But I think Sinner is on a mission right now, and now he comes up against.
Thank you very much, Ali Mehdi and Malik Usman Ahmed, for joining us. Whenever you say service, then only one name comes to my mind, and that's John Isner. So that was a superb serve I've seen in tennis as well. But that's all we have time for. Before we go, a very special birthday wish to send out to Mr. Amir Shah. A very happy birthday to you, Mr. Swagger, and we wish you all the best. That wraps it up. It's goodbye for now.